you find out life's this game of inches. So is football. Because in either game, life or football, the margin for error is so small. I mean, one half a step too late or too early, and you don't quite make it. 1/2 second too slow, too fast, you don't quite catch it. The inches we need are everywhere around us.
Welcome into the Gibson Fantasy Football Podcast.
Yeah. All right. Glad to be back.
Riding shotgun, the one and only Inaki.
The most consistent podcaster here besides you.
Yeah.
Seems like.
Yeah. You've probably earned the title of official co-host at this point, and everybody else is just a rotational guest.
Yeah. Shout out to the two Baylors today.
Oh, yeah, right.
For
Letting
good
things like
reasons,
work and children get in the way of fantasy football. Like, gotta check your
I know.
priorities.
I know, man. Get your priorities straight. Come on, Krieger and Cash. What are you guys doing?
Yeah, they got lots to learn from us.
Oh man, what a crazy week though, man.
Oh man.
You must have been just shitting your pants all week.
Yeah. I mean, I felt pretty good. Things broke my way a lot. It started
Yeah.
Thursday, right? The Puka Nakua versus Juwan Jennings. That broke
Yeah.
my way. And then I saw that Kenneth Walker was ruled out and I was going to get to play Charbonnet, and that broke my way. And
Oh yeah.
I was pretty confident, right through the matchups. And I mean, we can go there now. We can talk about me and Aaron going toe to toe. But yeah, I mean, truthfully, it didn't overly matter what my team did because his team just forgot to show up and got hammered by injuries.
Yeah, he got slammed by injuries, unfortunately. But
Yeah.
your team performed quite well. Quite well.
Yeah, I mean, I made a couple lineup decisions, right? We had chatted a bit. I was like, all right, I'm benching AJ Brown. If he goes off on my bench, at least I know I can trust him, and like that passing attack comes back around. And I had the Broncos defense, and then I was like, oh, but the Colts are playing better. Or maybe I should get Washington because New Orleans is shit. And at halftime, Washington had scored like 15 fantasy points, and things were looking good. And then they let the
Yeah.
Saints come back, and the Broncos got a pick six, and I was like, fuck. A couple lineup decisions that could have improved my
Yeah.
day. And Kyler.
I'm honestly surprised you didn't start your Broncos defense, man. I'm honestly surprised.
No, every week I'm like, do I, don't I? Do I, don't I?
Dude,
every
honestly,
time
like
it's
the
like-
last right before the bye though, they were popping off, man, and then they just picked up exactly where they left off. Like they just
I know.
were insane.
And,
They were really
now
good.
we're doing it all over again because they play the Chargers tomorrow, who are a pretty good team. But
Yeah.
Justin Herbert's banged up. They just got beat up by the Bucks. I'm like, Sertan's healthy. There's a part of me that's like, do I throw the Broncos out there? But then I'm like, oh my goodness, if on Thursday I get like a 3-pointer from my defense, it's just gonna put me in like a tough spot going into the weekend. And the Packers
yeah.
are playing the Saints, and they got a really good defense. So I'm like, oh, I feel pretty good about that. But I don't know. I'll probably deliberate that right up until game time tomorrow.
Yeah, man. I mean, we actually speaking of our well, we'll talk about that after actually, but honestly though, Aaron got nothing from his team, just absolutely just nothing. Tua,
Yeah,
Tyreek did nothing. Like David Montgomery coming out too against the Bills,
getting
that's a
hurt.
big blow too. Yeah, that's a big
Yeah.
blow to him.
There was a point where Tua had negative fantasy points for him because he had thrown an interception and had a fumble, and it was like,
dude, he
Jesus,
threw
man.
3 interceptions. That was actually crazy to see.
Yeah, he had a terrible game. The whole Dolphins offense just got decimated by the Houston's defense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you go position by position, right? Like Kyler only had 10 points. He still outscored Tua. McBride had a pretty good week. He
10 points too. Like that's crazy. Your guys' QB that might have been the lowest QB total of every week, probably. Like even regular season, I think that might have been that might have been the lowest QB total. I think of 2 QBs too.
Just both trash.
Yeah, like that's crazy.
I know. And like, yeah, I mean, wide receivers, two of mine outscored his three. Yeah, like
Running
he just got
backs, everything, man, everything.
the only good player he had was
The
Tyler
kicker,
Bass, his kicker.
yeah, Tyler Bass,
Yeah,
and
that
that's
was my
because
note.
that,
Bass scored
yeah,
15. No one else on his team scored 7 points.
yeah, which is and that just goes to that 48-42 Detroit Bills game, man. Like
Mm,
that was crazy. Like that was a good game again. And we
yeah.
were not even going to talk about Josh Allen. Like, oh my God, he better do that shit next week, man.
Nah. He's gonna have a nice easy home game at the Patriots. They're gonna just run the
Oh,
ball, take it easy.
we'll see.
Cruise to victory.
It's gonna be a fun one. But
Yeah, there's no
yeah, it's
but
funny because he actually had Houston defense too, which put up 15
yeah,
points. Yeah,
I know I saw that.
you had Green Bay's defense. I just realized that too. Put up 15
I know
points
I
too.
wasn't gonna play him against Seattle, but then Gino got hurt and they sacked
Yeah,
Sam Howell 4 times in like one quarter.
that's
Um,
insane.
So yeah, it could have gone a few different routes there, but yeah, he benched Darnold. That proved to be, Darnold wasn't great, but it was certainly the wrong option. And then yeah, he
Yeah,
benched the Houston Texans defense which I mean we talked about that though, right? If you've got Tua
yeah,
and then you've got the Texans defense, you're like to play
yeah,
both means somebody's not going to do well, right? So it's like
yeah.
that's
Unfortunately, Aaron just picked the wrong one.
he did, yeah. Should have gone with Darnold and the Houston defense, and he would have been in a
Yeah,
better spot, right?
definitely would have been in a better spot. And then who else did he have on the bench there? Put up 10. Etienne Jr.
ETN.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
would have helped a little
But I
bit
mean,
there.
other than that, his whole team just was low scoring. Unfortunately, it was just a
Just a
rough week.
terrible week. Yeah. Worst case scenario, right? Like, and
Yeah.
those are the like we're playing a game of probability, and so better players have a higher probability of having a good week. But everybody
Yeah.
has a probability of hitting a bad week. And when everybody hits their lower end outcome of the same week, you get something like that happening where your team's
Oh
just
yeah.
absolute trash, right? It's like,
That's worst case scenario too. Is that
yeah,
like if everybody has a bad week and that's you put up 55 points in a playoff matchup, which is unfortunate, but it does happen though. It's all the luck of the draw, man. How good the teams are doing.
so let's go to the other one. It was certainly a closer matchup, and right up until kind of the end of Monday night, Kreger had a
Mm,
chance to try to make a comeback. So 122 to 92 is a 30-point gap, which is still really like pretty substantial in the end. It's not 51 like it was between me and Aaron, but
yeah, it
um,
was pretty close though at one point. I'm
it
pretty
was.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah, got a couple. He got a late touchdown from Chase Brown, and then a couple of late yards from Barkley, and that kind of
yeah,
like cruised him into the Sunday night game there. Who
yeah,
neither of them had anybody playing, but I mean, if you go position by position and kind of break it down, like Baker actually outscored Daniels, so I mean that
yeah,
was pretty good. Hawkinson doubled up Ferguson,
yeah.
but then you get to the key players, right? That Chase Ridley
Chase
Smith
Brown.
combo,
Yeah,
and then Chase Brown. So special teams was pretty close, but that was really the wide receiver running back
yeah.
quartet
And what
there.
hurt him too was he had Thomas Jr. on the bench too. He got
And he was in his
uh,
lineup because I put the thing in the chat and I was like,
yeah,
BTJ plays for Kreger. And then we started and I'm like, oh, a big touchdown for Kreger there. And I went to check his thing and I was like,
took
where's
him out.
BTJ? And I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, he benched him, man. Oh my goodness. He pulled
yeah. That
Flowers out too. He had Flowers in at one point, pulled him
I
out.
know.
So, I mean,
If he just got rid of, he put Mooney in there, and Mooney just put up a dud.
yeah.
Unfortunately, just
Yeah, I
nothing.
mean, Brian Thomas for Mooney would have been a 27-point swing, so he still would have lost, but certainly
Yeah,
would have
that's
made
true.
things a lot
Would have made
closer.
things interesting for sure.
Yeah, Justin would have
Hey,
had a
look
bit
at
of a sweat
I
on him.
just noticed that Kreger picked up my boy Zay Flowers.
Yeah,
Guy was absolutely useless.
yeah.
I'm so glad I gave up on him because I gave him so many chances, man.
So many
Uh,
chances. You had him for a long time.
I did. He had one good week against, I think it was your Broncos actually, and after that, just
Might have been.
nothing, absolutely nothing. But
And Krager stayed stubborn and played the 49ers defense.
Hey man, he's committed. He is committed to that 49ers
He's loyal.
defense, bro. Very loyal. Oh
He was
man.
like, "Y'all did great against the Bears. I'm sure you'll be fine against the Rams."
You know what? You can't. They put up positive points for him, so that's a win in
That's
my
true.
books. That's a win in
That's
my
right.
book.
Yeah. I mean, if you take away that 13-point week, it was the best in like 3 weeks, right? So, but yeah, no, it's and honestly, like only a couple of Justin's players hit their higher end outcomes, right? Like Chase
Yeah.
Brown went off pretty heavily, Jaden Daniels, but like Jamar
Devonta
Chase,
Smith, though,
13
right?
points, Barkley, 8 points. Like those were the guys
Yeah.
we were worried about, but it ended up being the other guys, Smith and Chase Brown and Daniels, that did the damage.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, Justin's been pretty consistent at putting up a buck 20 points, man. Like that's like his basically his average. So he pretty much hit it right on the dot almost. So
Yeah. Yeah,
that's
no, you're right.
yeah, that's it's pretty much just another day at work, man, for Justin.
Yeah. And he didn't make any, I mean, his bench was pretty shitty, so he made pretty much
Yeah,
every correct lineup decision.
yeah.
Uh, weekly leaders before we go to this week's stuff. So
Mhm.
a lot of the usual suspects in here: Josh Allen, Jared Goff, Lamar Jackson, Jonnu Smith, who's become a staple at the tight end position, Sam Lacorda, and my man McBride. Dude, McBride's got to get a touchdown, man. It's crazy. He's like
Dude,
still has not
yeah.
caught a receiving touchdown, and they had a play for him at the 2 yard line where they faked the ball to James Conner running across, and then he
Mhm.
flipped it to
Yeah,
McBride on the
oh yeah.
inside, and he ran in and he got stuffed at like the half-yard line, and I'm like, come on, man, can we not get this guy one touchdown, man?
I can't believe he doesn't have a receiving
Not
touchdown, man. It's
one
actually
receiving touchdown.
insane. It's
It
it's
is.
insane because he's been really really good for you too. Like the
It's
last
like
like
the
four
tight end
weeks, man.
two in points per game, but like
Yeah, which is
no
insane.
touchdowns. Like he would, dude, he would be breaking fantasy if he had like 6 touchdowns on the year.
Yeah, it's it's gonna be good, man. I mean, honestly, if there's gonna be a week to do it, it's the next week against the Panthers, man, because that was a bad fucking team.
It's so bad. That defense is terrible.
Oh man,
Um, James Conner, who we just talked about, with the double tutty and the over 100 yards.
that's my big
Jameer,
waiver pickup, baby.
I know, fucking Justin gifted you, man.
Oh,
Uh,
dude, he did.
Jameer Gibbs. So I mean, with Montgomery out, Jameer Gibbs gets all the work, and he's going to go nuclear. And then James Cook in that Bills game that you talked about, he had a receiving touchdown and a huge run there. So he had a
Yeah,
great day. Man, this was like the old school veterans making the statement week. Devontae Adams and Mike
yeah.
Evans, man,
Mike Evans,
both
yeah.
over 150 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Crazy, man. Absolutely crazy.
And then Amon-Ra St. Brown in that game, he went nuclear as well.
Yeah.
Chiefs defense, Falcons defense, Broncos defense, and then McLaughlin, Aubrey, and Bass as the kickers.
Man, I'm not gonna lie. I never wish injury upon anyone, but when Patrick Mahomes got injured, I kind of jumped in joy a little bit. Just a
I
little bit.
know. I think
I'm
most
not gonna.
people they were
Yeah, I'm
like,
not.
"Oh, good. Maybe they'll like lose a couple games and not get the 1 seed, and we can get them out of the
Yeah,
fucking playoffs."
but obviously you never want to see anyone get hurt. Never.
Not seriously, just enough to miss the next 2 games or the regular season 3 games,
Hey man,
lose
that's
the
bad
one
karma.
seed,
No, no, no,
come
no,
back in
no.
the playoffs.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting, man. If Allen doesn't win MVP, like there's something wrong with this fucking. That's so
It's gonna be him, man. I mean,
yeah,
Lamar's the only other one that you could choose because he's been
yeah.
amazing as well, but Josh Allen's just been next level.
He's pretty much got it locked, in my opinion.
Yeah. He would have to like in his schedule, I mean, it's like Patriots, Jets, Patriots. Like
Yeah,
he's
yeah. Like
just
come
gonna,
on.
yeah. Like unless he has a strange outing against one of those teams and loses,
Hmm.
then I mean he's got it locked down. He would have to lose, and then Lamar would have to finish 3-0 and knock off the Steelers this week and make a
Yeah,
statement. But
crazy.
I can't see it.
All right, we
So
got kickers there too, right? Did we miss kickers or did we get them?
McLaughlin, Aubrey, and Bass, kind of the usual suspects there.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
So consolation time, buddy. So this is big because we're out here battling for trophy and bragging rights and a title. But these four here that didn't make the playoffs, they got to sit by, hang out, sip some cocoa, relax last week, and now it's back to the grind because one of those four people is going to have to proudly show that Blue Balls trophy in their house for a year.
Oh, I want to see some pictures of that shit too, man.
Yeah, that's right. We need evidence. There's
Yeah,
got to
we
be
need
group chat
evidence.
evidence. So
Oh
we
man.
got Ryan finishing up as the 7 seed against Jay as the 10 seed is the first matchup. So they played each other twice. They split the head to head because
Ooh.
Ryan beat up on Jay early in the season, and then Jay helped play spoiler late in the year. Ryan averaged about 100 points per game. Jay was about 98. So pretty close in that sense.
Yeah.
Record wise, Ryan finished obviously a little better. He was the 7 seed, but
Mm.
let's take a quick look. I know Jay's made some moves. I don't know if Ryan's, done much because his team went off last week when nobody cared. He scored like
Yeah.
140 points.
Insane. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, So yeah, we won't do as thorough a breakdown because it's a consolation matchup, but had a quick look here with checking out the lineups. It's got Ryan as a slight favorite. Looks like Jay's pivoted to the Falcons defense and grabbed the Arizona kicker. But what are you seeing here? What's standing out to you about the players that each team's got and who?
Oh man. Honestly, this is a tough one because both of these teams, like it says Ryan's in favor, but I think I'm gonna go with Jay here. Like, you
Mm,
never count out Joe Burrows. He's fucking
Burrow,
multiple
man. I know that's the
like
scary one.
constantly, and he's got some good like dude, Addison could pop off at any point. He's shown, he's
Oh
proven it, right?
man, he's been very
He's got
good.
some other great
Yeah.
players here too, right? Like Garendo, like um, who else? Someone else popped off for him a couple weeks ago. I think it was it Johnny Smith? I think it was his tight end. Yeah, his tight end's
Yeah,
been really good.
Mike Evans just had a huge week.
Yeah, Mike Evans. But like I don't know, like the QB difference here to me is going to be a big
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, because Jared Goff has been torching it the last couple of weeks because Detroit's had to throw so much to keep up. And
Hmm.
it'll be interesting to see because Chicago's so bad and their
They
offense is
are.
so depleted. Like, if they could somehow keep it competitive, then Goff will probably be okay because he'll have to keep throwing and Montgomery's out, so they're not going to run the ball at the goal line as much.
Yeah.
But odds are they probably boat race Chicago and they don't need to throw as much.
Yeah. I'm thinking QBs, I'm going to go in favor of Jay. Um, let's see. Wide receivers, I'm probably going to say that's fairly even in my opinion.
Yeah,
Maybe
maybe
a slight
slightly, Jay.
edge. Yeah, maybe a slight edge to Jay.
Close
Running
though.
backs, I'm gonna go with Ryan though. Like James
Yeah,
Cook,
James Cook.
he's gonna run it, man. He's gonna fucking run that shit. And he's also got I forgot he's got King Henry too. I
Oh
completely
yeah,
forgot about him.
yeah. He's
He's
got
been
him in the
kind of
flex to kind of fool us.
yeah. He's been kind of quiet lately though. He hasn't been as
Yeah,
good as
and
he was
Pittsburgh's
to
a
start
tough
the year.
matchup. I mean, last time
Mhm.
he played Pittsburgh, he finished with 10 fantasy points and just
Yeah,
happened to find the end zone, right? But
but
um,
tight ends, I'm gonna say is fairly even. Maybe slight edge to I don't know. Kelsey's on Kansas City, so they'll probably
yeah,
call Patrick Mahomes bullshit and win the game. You know, some bullshit there. Um, yeah, kickers. I don't know. I haven't really been paying
I
attention
guess
to Adam
Aubrey.
Thielen,
Yeah,
but yeah, maybe
like,
Aubrey there. But
and then defense. Pretty. I mean, they're both playing pretty bad teams.
yeah, and
Slight
it's
edge
probably
to
pretty even.
Atlanta, I guess, but it's pretty even there.
Yeah. I'm gonna
Yeah,
give the
I'm with.
slight edge to Jay on this one though, just because that Joe Burrow factor, man.
Yeah.
That guy could put up 30 points for him, like he did for me against me and some other fucking people too. He loves playing spoiler, man. He's gonna continue that. It's
To
gonna be
your
interesting.
point, I'm surprised he's got Marvin Harrison Jr. in there over Addison right now because Addison's
I'm
getting
actually Yeah, Addison's been on fire lately, man. It's
I
either
know.
going to Addison or JJ every fucking game. So
Yeah.
we'll see. He might make some
Yeah.
lineup tweaks
Oh, and
though.
Ryan's probably going to put Lad McConkey back in there too, I would imagine. Maybe not, but
Yeah,
I would. But
yeah. It's
yeah,
gonna be interesting. I
no,
think there's still some lineup decisions to be made there, but it's gonna be this is gonna be a good battle. This
this should be a
consolation one's
fun
gonna
one.
be good. Yeah.
Number two. So we got the missus taking on Brody here. So they only played one time, and Brody got the better of her in week 6, 103 to 188. Dawn averaged
Yeah.
about 97 points per game. Brody was actually over 103 despite finishing as the 9 seed.
Yeah.
Um,
Wow.
Probably some lineup implications here. We'll see because I don't think either of them has touched their lineup since previous
Nah,
there.
I don't think
Uh,
so. Don's got Cooper Cup on the bench, and they're against the Jets, who are shit. So she'll probably put him.
yeah, that'll probably
Um.
get swapped around.
Uh.
Terry
Yeah.
McLaurin for Brody, you would expect him to get in there. He's been very good.
Yeah. Maybe DeAndre Hopkins too instead of CeeDee Lamb because I think CeeDee Lamb was injured, wasn't he? His
He was,
shoulder.
but he's still been playing. So I mean,
Uh.
he's still been pretty
hmm,
good.
Yeah. We'll see.
I
This
think the
one's
biggest
gonna be QBs.
big
I think
thing
again.
QB, that's the biggest thing that stands out is what's Brody gonna do? Is he gonna ride with Caleb or is he gonna go hit the waiver wire and go hunting?
Yeah.
I'd go
I mean,
hunting
if
if
it
I
was
was him.
yeah, me too. I'd be going hunting. Caleb Williams is not the answer there. I don't think.
No, no, he's not the answer.
Yeah.
I mean,
See.
there's not great options on the waiver wire, but hell, I mean, give me old man Rogers or somebody out there. There's got to be maybe Stafford. Like you got to be able to find somebody that you can trust a little more than Williams.
Yeah. Exactly. Give me one sec, buddy. I'll be right back.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Jalen Hurts at quarterback. That's a huge one for John. Washington's got a good defense, but you never really doubt Jalen Hurts. Last time he played him, he got almost 19 fantasy points, so still just fine there. Probably needs to swap out Quentin Johnson with Cooper Cup, but
Yeah.
JSN in there. Pollard's a little
Oh,
banged up, but yeah, I think if nothing was if Brody went out and found a decent quarterback and then done maybe pivoted off the Rams defense against the Jets. I don't know about that. I probably would.
yeah. I don't know about that either.
The Jets. Oh, and Brody's got to put somebody in for Nick Chubb. He's on IR. But yeah, if he makes
Ooh.
some moves, I would lean Brody if he gets the proper quarterback and put somebody in for Nick Chubb.
Yeah. Yeah. If he doesn't find a QB, I'm probably gonna
Yeah,
go with Don actually.
that's fair.
Surprisingly, just because I don't know. I'm feeling a big game against the Rams against the Jets. I think the Rams might fuck them up.
They could.
Yeah, but I don't
Yeah,
know, man. Anything can happen. You never know, right?
yeah. It's hard to know which version of Aaron Rodgers you're to get each week.
Yeah, exactly. Because one day you might get fucking peak Aaron Rodgers. The other day you just get thrown interceptions and shit the bed Aaron
Yeah,
Rodgers. You get
old man
Jets Aaron
Rodgers.
Rodgers, old man
Yeah,
Rodgers.
that's right. All right.
Yeah.
So before we jump into the matchups, just some fun facts about the Final Four here. I thought this was interesting. So I
Mhm.
was like, obviously the 4 people remaining are the top 4 seeds. So
Yep.
that's, would be sort of chalk. But I was like, it feels like it's been the same 4 people pretty much of the standings the whole year, just moving around. And so I checked it. And so you've spent 14 out of 14 weeks of the regular season in one of the top 4 spots. I spent 14 out of 14 weeks in the regular season in one of the top 4 spots. And Justin spent 14 out of 14 weeks in one of the top 4 spots.
Wow.
Cash had a slow start because he lost week 1 and week 3, and then worked his way back up, got into the 4 seed as of week 8, and since week 8 has remained in the top 4. So
Wow. That's
87% of the
impressive.
season, the 4 of us were the top 4. But 100% of the time since week 8, the 4 of us have been the top 14.
Yeah. honestly, I usually shit on Cash, but kudos to Cash for turning it around because
Mm-hmm.
he was in a rough spot early in the season, man. I know
Yeah,
obviously it's early in the season, but like that's a big turnaround, a big turnaround.
yeah. I mean, he went from, I don't know, at one point he was like 7 or 8 or something down there.
Yeah.
And he finished with as the 2 seed and got a bye, right? So I mean, like you said, got to give him props for that. He get all the way to the end here.
Hmm.
And we got a fun dynamic here. So we entered with 3 PEI teams, me, Aaron, and Justin. 3 Ontario teams, you, Cash, and Krager. And we lost one from each province. it's
Yeah,
it's now
that's
two and
funny.
two, and not only is it 2-2, but neither plays each other. So, me and you are playing, Cash and Justin
Yeah,
are playing. So there could be
could
two
be a battle of
Ontario in the
PI,
finals,
could be a
two
battle of
PEI,
Ontario.
or
Yeah,
it could be
could be
one
a
of each,
battle of
right?
PVI and Ontario.
Yeah.
That's wild. That's a pretty cool
So
stat.
we'll see. It's like Battle of the Provinces, is the league within the league here.
Yeah, we'll see, man. It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I was joking around at Dawn when we started, and I noticed I was like, oh, if we ever wanted to do divisions, you could have like a PEI division and an Ontario division where there's like 5 and 5, right? But all right. Well, seeing as how you and I are hosting, let's go to theirs first, and then we can wrap up with ours, and that'll be kind of a fun way to go from there.
Yeah, I'm
So
down for
Cash
that.
and Justin, this is a big boy matchup for sure. Uh, Head to head, Justin's actually 2-0. So I didn't realize this till I went back and looked. I was kind of
Really?
surprised. Yeah. And you
2-0.
talked about his consistency. 129.66 points in the first matchup, 129.88 points in the second matchup against Cash. So just like
Telling you, man,
identical
he
score.
he puts up numbers. It's crazy.
Yeah. Cash 123 the first time, took a 6 point loss, 108 the second time. And that was that week that he had like benched his guys and we put
Oh
Andrews back
yeah,
in for him. And Justin had Jamar Chase go off for like 50 on the Thursday nighter against the Ravens.
yeah.
So that was
Those,
that week that he got kind of blown out in that one. But
yeah, that was an unwinnable week though. That was a crazy week.
yeah, 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 yeah. So yeah, 9-5 for Cash. Justin's 10-5 because he won last week. 121.5 points for Cash, 120 points for Justin, 2 highest scoring teams in the season. So this is a banger, man. This is 2 of the best teams. They deserve to be in the finals, final 4 here. Um, so yeah, initial thoughts, and then we'll go position by position here and see what do we got.
Oh man, initial thoughts. Man, if Chase Brown has another nuclear week though, like, or sorry, not Chase Brown. Who
Jamar
was
Chase.
Jamar Chase? Sorry. If he has another nuclear week, like I think Cash is gonna be in some trouble. But
Yeah.
I honestly, I don't think he's gonna hit that again. I don't think
I
he's
don't
gonna hit
either
that again.
because I think they're going to crush Cleveland. I actually think Chase Brown probably has a better week than Jamar Chase, just like last week. Because I
Yeah.
think they're just cruising
Um.
through the running game. But
Yeah. Justin's got some tough matchups too, right? Like,
he does.
um, Saquon Barkley, like he usually is pretty consistent. They're against Washington, right? Like Washington's a good team. So like I
So
don't know how
one,
many points he's gonna
two,
be able to put up.
3. So 5 of his 9 players play in the same game, and that's Washington versus Philly. And the
He's got a
last
lot of
time
Philly
that game
guys.
happened, it was a low scoring, tight game. So
Hmm.
if that happens again, that could potentially, because that's what happened, I think, when I played him and beat him the first
Yeah.
time, and that was that game. And
If
so that
yeah,
makes a
if
big
that happens
difference.
again, I think it's game over.
Yeah, it
That you
can't
need.
be a low scoring game.
Yeah, it cannot be. Especially because he has all. And if Philadelphia gets like just
Yeah,
destroyed too, like there's two outcomes there right there that just destroy Justin's chances, right?
he's got 4 players on Philly, man. Barkley, Smith, Elliott, and D. So
Yeah,
he's
it's tough
heavily
when
reliant.
it's tough when you have players on the same team, but it also benefits you as well because if that team starts popping off, right, you have so many like that's so many points right there.
Yeah, I mean they're 12-2. They're tied for the number one seed in the NFC. So he's been
Yeah,
riding hot, but
yeah,
it doesn't mean that every week's going to work out like that, right? You kind of live by the sword, die by the sword on this one.
yeah. On the other end, I'm interested to see who Cash puts in for his QB because he's got
Mm,
Mahomes and he's also got Lamar, right?
I'm
And he's been
imagining,
rocking Lamar. He's been rocking
yeah,
Lamar quite a lot. So it's worked out for him.
yeah. All right, let's start there. So Lamar versus Jaden Daniels. I mean, I think that's a pretty close matchup, but
Yeah,
because
both are facing tough teams
Daniels,
too, right?
yeah, but to me, that's true. I mean, both have had bad performances against the team they played, right? So when Jaden Daniels played the Eagles in week 11, he scored 14 points. When Lamar played the Steelers, also in week 11, coincidentally, he scored
Wow.
15 points. So I think this is pretty even. Um, I have a
Yeah,
little
I'm
more
gonna have
faith
to
in
agree.
Lamar, but it's pretty
I
close.
think he starts Lamar over Mahomes for
Mahomes.
sure though, because like
Yeah.
Lamar is just so much more dynamic in my opinion.
Yeah, plus the ankle injury, right? Like I know he's
Yeah.
practiced fully, he's probably gonna play, but
Mhm.
you don't want to risk that.
Yeah.
Um, all right. Then where did we go next? Let's go RBs. So Saquon Barkley and Chase Brown versus Jameer Gibbs and Jerome Ford. I think you got to go to Justin on this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Justin. I think Gibbs is gonna be pretty good
Yeah,
just because Montgomery's gone now, but Barkley and Chase Brown you can't go wrong with, man. That's a
yeah,
nasty running. He's probably got two of the best running backs in our league.
I would agree. Yeah, two top 10 for sure, maybe top five depending on the week.
Yeah.
Um, all right, so we give Justin the edge on that one. And
Yep.
then tight end, uh that's been Justin's Achilles heel, man. He's
Yeah.
been he's like Kreger with the 49ers, man. He's faithful to Dalton Schultz. And the
I
guy's been
know.
trash except that one week he went off against me.
And
So,
on the other hand, though, fucking since Cash has picked up Mark Andrews, he has been
oh,
lights out, just
dude, he
lights
was
out.
on waivers like after he pulled the two gooses there. He was sitting on waivers and Cash grabbed him and did okay against Cincinnati and then started going off. And
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
most weeks it's worked out, right? So definitely got to give the edge to Cash on that one.
I agree.
Wide receivers, so they're both starting two plus. I guess he's got the flex right now. If we'll see if Kamara plays. So Jamar
Mhm.
Chase, who's pretty awesome. Calvin Ridley, who's been kind of bad. Devonta Smith, who's been hit and miss. Devontae Adams coming off the big week. Cortland Sutton's been very good. And then he's got
Yeah,
Kamara in the flex. So I don't know if Kamara's going to play with that ankle injury. So I would say he probably pivots to DK in that case, but
yeah.
maybe Pickens if he's healthy. Um, where do you go here with those matchups?
Uh, Wide receivers. I mean, if Devonte Adams and Sutton put up fairly decent weeks, I would probably go with Cash on this one. But I mean, like you never know when Jamar Chase is gonna just fucking ruin something, right? Like I'm
Yeah,
gonna go with Justin here because he's got Devonte Smith as well down in the flex spot too, and he had a good week last week. So
I
I think I'm
agree.
gonna ride with Justin here.
Yeah, I think that's what's going on right now because I'm not confident Kamara's going to play,
Yeah,
and that's a little worrisome because he's been fucking amazing.
yeah, he's been
Um,
really good.
yeah, yeah, Devonta Smith looked a lot better. We all know what Chase can do. Ridley's not great, but he's good enough. Um, all right, and then special teams to wrap it up. Cash has the Tucker who did okay last week because all he had to do was kick extra points. They literally didn't score anything but touchdowns, so he just kicked 5 extra points. Made them all though.
Yeah,
Jake the Snake Elliott for Philly, for Justin, and then Philly's defense against Washington, which should be good. And right
yeah.
now, Cash still has the Dallas defense against Baker, and I don't love that. I
I
imagine
don't.
he'll look for a new defense, but if he
Yeah,
doesn't, then I would give the edge to Justin.
I agree. I think Justin has the more consistent kicker in Jake Elliott.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't like the Dallas defense for Cash there.
Not against Baker, man. He's been balling.
No. Yeah. So
All
yeah, I
right.
think I'm probably. So are we gonna do we'll do an overall, I guess. Who we
Yeah,
think?
overall pick. So we've kind of broke it down. So basically we've said quarterbacks are about even, slight edge to Justin and and running backs and a little bit wide receivers. Big edge
Mhm.
to Cash at tight end. Slight edge to Justin in special teams unless Cash goes and gets a new defense. So what's your where do you go overall here?
Okay. Overall, I think like on paper, I think both teams are pretty even, especially with the matchups. I think it's gonna come down to QBs again and wide receivers in this one.
Yeah.
And then for Justin, I think it's going to come down to running backs to see who, like, what he can put up there. Because if he has some down weeks from Barkley and Brown, like, I just don't see I don't see Jameer Gibbs not putting up points against the Bears, man. The Bears are shit.
Yeah, he's not
Like,
gonna bust.
yeah, he's gonna have a big week, I think. But overall, I think I don't know. It's this one's a tough one. I would say it's pretty even.
Close
If
for
I'm gonna
sure.
give the edge to someone, I think I'm gonna go Justin. Only because I like his receivers and his running backs a little bit better than I do Cash's.
Yeah, I think like you said, they're neither has ideal matchups for some of their key players. Like the
Hmm.
Lamar and Jaden Daniels scenario is not great. I think what sways me is I'm not confident in Cash's flex spot because I don't think Kamara's going to play. And then I don't really want Najee in there. DK's not been great. Pickens is still not
Yeah.
practicing. So I'm kind of like, who's that next person? So between that and the fact that he doesn't have a legit defense in that I trust right now, I lean Justin. But it's probably like 55-45, maybe 60-40 at the most.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. We'll see.
So
Cash likes to fucking wait till the last minute to tweak his lineup, so we'll see if he
yeah,
makes any decisions here.
he may not be done.
No.
All right. Well, the moment we've all been waiting for, my man.
Oh yeah, this is the heavyweight matchup, baby.
Showtime.
This is the heavyweight matchup. This is gonna be the most anxious I think I've ever been in my life.
Oh, man. So aside from the 1 week that Justin leapfrogged you before the playoffs, before that last week when you went back into first,
Yeah.
you or I have been in first place for 13 out of the 14 weeks. So
Yeah, that's crazy, man. That's
I
crazy to
started it
see.
off, and then you took the torch and pretty well kept it right to the end. So
Yeah. It's
it's
uh
we've
it's
been
been a
on a crash
battle. It's
course.
been a battle, man.
I know. Um, So we only met the one time. You got the better of me in that crazy close matchup.
Oh,
133.5 to 131.5. Malik
that
Neighbors
was
almost came up at the end there. That
yeah.
turnover, right? And there was a number of things that happened that week that were super close. We both benched players. We wish we didn't. It
That
was a
was
hell of
the
a week.
Rams players, I think. Kyron and
Yeah, the
Puka
Rams
Nakua.
Vikings game, right? Where you
Yeah.
benched Kyren and I benched Puka, and we were both like, "Fuck, we should have played the Rams."
Yeah.
Um, So yeah, that was a battle. You finished with the best record in the league at 10-4. I was 9-5, but won last week, so I bumped up to 10-5.
Should have been 10 and
Average
3
points.
though, or should have been 11 and 3, but Joe Burrows decided to fuck me that week. God damn, I'm so tilted about that, man. I'm so
I was gonna
tilted.
say, good thing you're not bitter about it.
Oh man, still can't get over that. That's gonna haunt me, I think.
Yeah, you're gonna see Joe Burrow next year, and anytime you play him, you're gonna be like,
Yeah, 100%, man.
"Fuck."
Oh,
Points were pretty close, right? 116 and almost 117 for you, 118 for me.
yeah,
So, I mean, we had a close matchup. We've both put up some really good points. We've both been in first place. We've both won some big weeks. So, It's unfortunate that we have to play in the semis instead of the finals, but it's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, it is. It's gonna be a good one. I'm actually I'm not gonna spoil anything, but there might be some lineup changes that you're gonna be
Okay.
unexpected about, I think. But so far, right now, it's pretty set in stone. But it's there might be some lineup changes. We'll see.
Fair enough. Well, it's up to you, man. You get to choose right up until the last minute.
Yeah, 100%, man,
That's part
100%.
of the fun.
But we're probably gonna be a little bit biased here, obviously. But actually, maybe not. We can probably take the biased out of it.
I
But
think, yeah, I think we'll be able to do it.
yeah,
So I
uh,
mean, we'll come out of the gate, and I'm not gonna shit,
Q,
beat around the
yeah,
bush. You've got the better
QBs.
quarterback. There's
Yeah,
you've
I've
got the best
had
quarterback in fantasy right now. There's no
yeah.
way around it.
Josh Allen
It's
has just been insane, man. I was
insane.
hoping to God that he would put up this amount of points in the playoffs, dude. And if he goes stale, I'm gonna fucking lose. I
Oh,
swear to God, dude. I swear
dude,
to God.
to
There's
put
no
up
way he does though
50,
against New England,
almost
but
52 points and then 41 points in the
yeah,
last week of the season and the first week of the fantasy playoffs, and you didn't
dude,
really
yeah,
need either of them. Like it's like, yeah,
it's
you're right.
insane.
If he comes out and drops like a 15-point week and does
Oh,
okay, but doesn't hit for you, oh,
yeah.
that's gonna be that's gonna
That's gonna
be
be a tough blow, but I honestly I trust in the Josh Allen, man. He is such
yeah.
a good QB.
It's tough to have a reference point because they haven't played the Patriots. They play them this week and again in 2 weeks to close out the year. I mean, they play
Yeah,
each other every year. Patriots know them well. I mean, their team's trash, so obviously the Bills are going to win. But it's just a matter of how do they score points and how much do they push the pace of play versus just kind of coming off two really crazy games, right? Like
yeah.
huge game against the Rams that they lost, huge game against Detroit that they won. You wonder if there's a bit of a like put it on cruise control and just get through the Patriots this week to kind of get back on track here. That's I think the one thing you have working for you though, and we'll sort of get to it here later in the matchup, is if the Bills dominate and so Josh Allen doesn't have as much of a ceiling week, that means that
Mhm.
the Bills defense did really well for you.
Exactly, yeah.
And if the
Kind of a
Bills,
double-edged sword. It's kind of a double-edged sword in a way.
it is, but I think you're kind of like you're almost hedging in a way because you're like if
Yeah,
the game's like competitive, then Josh Allen will do better because he'll need to throw more and be aggressive. If it's a blowout, well, that probably means that your defense created some turnovers and got some stacks on Drake May. So,
yeah.
nevertheless, the edge goes to you. Kyler is one of the scariest options to have. He doesn't kill me, but he doesn't always do well. So it's like I don't know,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, it's gonna be dicey.
Um,
Uh,
let's go to running backs first.
all right, running backs. So you've got three, and I've got two. So it's a little tricky to
Mhm.
compare, but you got Kyron Williams, you got Aaron Jones, and you got the aforementioned James Conner, who you scooped up.
I
And
did.
then I got
Mm,
Bijan Robinson and Devon Achane.
yeah. So this one's kind of tough, honestly, because Aaron Jones has been I mean, the last couple of weeks he's been good, but he's kind of
Yes,
a little bit inconsistent in my opinion.
for sure.
Same with Kyron, but Kyron's kind of stepped it up a little bit like more recently, especially against the Bills. He had a really good game.
He did.
Um, and James Conner, like
Oof,
before the when I picked him up, put him in my lineup, didn't expect him to put up 20 points like after like the 2 bad weeks that he had. But holy shit,
28 last week, man.
yeah, he had 28 last week, man, and
Craziness.
two tutties.
Yeah,
But I like your running backs. I'm not gonna lie. Like A Chain's been really he's been really like solid for you. I would say really consistent. And
for sure.
same with Bijan Robinson, man. He's been pretty good too. I would say just because I have three, I would give it to me. But if it was two and I took out like either, I mean, it would probably be Kyron Williams and James Conner against A Chain and Robinson if I was gonna make a lineup tweak. That's what it would probably be.
I think that'd be pretty even.
So yeah, I think it would be pretty even. But the fact that I have, I think, one more RB is probably
Yeah.
good of me.
I think that's a fair advantage because RBs have been more consistent on the whole this year.
Yeah.
Both my running backs have a little bit of volatility as well because the Dolphins, they pretty well are eliminated. They're not many to play for.
Mhm.
The offense hasn't looked very good. Tua not playing all that well. And then Bijan, I don't know if you saw, but they benched Kirk Cousins and they're going to the rookie Michael Penix.
Yeah, I did see that.
I don't know if that's good or bad for Bijan. I mean, they're probably going to run the ball a lot still.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins does the checkdowns, but I mean, the offense was shit. They barely beat the Raiders 15-9. So
What a boring ass game that was. Did you watch that? That was terrible.
I tried not to. I was
Yeah.
like between the two games, and I was like,
I watched the first half and then I watched the highlights
that's
after.
what I was like, I think it
the
was
most boring game.
halfway through the game, maybe third quarter. I was like, I'm going to bed. There's no point staying up for this.
Yeah.
I'm not going to torture
remember
myself.
remember the early in the season there was like two Thursday night games that were the worst Thursday night games I think I've ever watched in my life. I can't
So
remember who it was, but yeah, it was almost like that, man. It was terrible.
I
It was
know.
absolutely terrible.
Those island games, man, when they're bad, like it's just so shitty because there's nothing else
Yeah.
to flip to. Like it's
Yeah.
just like your Vikings were they did their part, but the Bears were so bad that game was never competitive.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, so we'll give you the edge at running back. Definitely got the edge at quarterback. If we were just gonna go 2v2, it's probably pretty even.
Yeah.
Tight ends.
Oh, we'll go tight ends?
Receivers? Whatever you
Oh,
want,
we'll go
man.
tight. We can go tight ends first. Tight ends. I'm gonna say
I
this is
think
pretty.
I think we've got the two best in the league right now.
Yeah, I agree. I was gonna say I think tight ends is pretty set in stone. That's a pretty even match.
I
And
think
it
so.
would be 100% you if Trey McBride scored a fucking touchdown.
That's the factor, man. Because Kittle's
Yeah.
probably gonna get a touchdown and he's gonna
Yeah.
be good. But McBride's gonna be good even without a touchdown because he has been. But if
And they're
God
against
forbid he could
Carolina
catch a
too.
touchdown, that's what I'm
Oh,
thinking, man. And that's we'll talk about the overall matchup in a second, but that's a huge dynamic is the
yeah.
Kyler
Tight end.
McBride connection there with a touchdown, right?
Yeah, 100%. That's gonna be that's gonna be an interesting tight end matchup. I actually think that's gonna be one of the best ones so far.
Yeah, I think we have the best two tight ends in the league for fantasy.
Yeah.
And they're both stellar players. So I would agree that one's even. All right, now let's go wide receivers. So I've got the extra because I had the two running backs. So I got Puka, Nico, and AJ Brown. You got JJ and Shakir.
Yeah. Honestly, Puka Nakua has been on fire lately. Like,
yeah.
He's been really, really good. Nico Collins has been pretty consistent for you since you've picked him up.
I know. He had a couple touchdowns last week, which thank God, man, because he had like 4 catches for 17 yards, but he had 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. JJ, he's starting to get better.
Yes.
But he's not the JJ that we all know, which is unfortunate for me.
He said he had that one vintage game against Atlanta a couple weeks there with 7 for 30, 132 and 2. But I mean, yeah, he's got 3 touchdowns in the last 2 weeks. But before that, God, I mean, he went like 6 games without a touchdown.
Yeah, and I don't know how I was gonna actually put Jameson Williams in, but I was actually gonna put him in for Shakir, and then I saw that Shakir was against New England. I was like,
Yeah,
I'll just stick with Shakir. But I think I'm gonna give wide receivers to you on this one, to be honest. Unless
I think
JJ's got like a crazy ass game in him.
Yeah, because I think Puka, if JJ continues as he has been, then I think Puka and JJ pretty well cancel each other out.
Yeah.
And then I would take Nico or AJ Brown over Shakir.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think
agree with that.
I hit the edge on that one. And then special teams, kickers. I mean, you've got one of the better kickers. He's been great because Detroit's been great. Although that was a bit of an issue last week as they just scored touchdowns because they had to.
Yeah, they had to score touchdowns.
They're just getting boat raced. I don't think they'll have to do that this week against Chicago. But that is always a bit of a risk with their team being so good that sometimes they just score touchdowns.
Yeah, and you've got Green Bay's kicker there.
Yeah. He's been pretty good the last few weeks, and I had Fairbairn, but I was like, man, I don't know how many points Houston's going to score against Kansas City in Kansas City. So I decided to go with the Green Bay kicker, knowing that they're playing the Saints, who are a pretty bad team, and they should be able to score a lot of points.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting one. I think special teams here. I'm probably going to go with me here, to be honest. Buffalo's D has just been super good, other than the last 2 weeks, which have been just fucking crazy ass scoring games. Right?
44 points allowed, 42 points.
Yeah. But I don't know. I'm gonna like Jake Bates has been really, really solid for me since I picked him up.
For sure.
And I think I got the better kicker, but I don't know. I think your Green Bay's defense too. Well, I mean, you have 3 defenses to pick from, so we'll see if you go down to your Denver Broncos.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I would say our defenses are probably pretty even, but I think I take the kicker. I would say.
That's fair. I agree with that. I think our defenses are both really good matchups and pretty high quality defenses. I think my kicker could do a really good job here because they could just destroy them and settle for field goals from time to time. But I still would trust your kicker a little more than mine.
Yeah, man.
All right. So overall factors. I mean, I think if we were gonna go, when they do the here's the keys to the game. I think there's 2 for me that stand out. One is the Kyler to Trey McBride touchdown connection versus the James Conner running in the touchdowns, which sort of encompasses the QB matchup. And the other is the Puka Nacua catching touchdowns versus Kyron Williams running or catching touchdowns.
Yeah, I agree. We have a lot of we have different players that play on the same team, which is going to be interesting because the run game kind of favors me more than the catching game in terms of those games.
Yes,
because I got the 2 running backs for your QB and your LA Rams there. So that's going to be huge. I think if I get another nuclear week from Josh Allen, I think that's going to help me out a lot. And I'm actually the thing I think that's going to either make or break this for me is my wide receivers. I think if JJ has a bad game against Seattle and Shakir doesn't get the ball thrown to him, I think that's going to be a massive problem for me because I think against the Jets, I think Nakua is going to be. I mean, Nakua's been targeted so much, and same as Nico Collins. That's going to be a problem. And then last week, AJ Brown had such a great week for you too. So that's going to be a thing to look out for too. That wide receiver battle is going to be an interesting one.
For sure. Yeah. No, I think those are pretty good keys. Can Trey McBride catch a touchdown? How do the Falcons look with Bijan Robinson? With a rookie quarterback. How do the Vikings do? How badly do they beat up on Seattle? And does that come via Aaron Jones or Justin Jefferson, or is that Addison or Hawkinson or someone else? So we'll see. That's it's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be tight. I don't feel like I did last week where I was super confident. But
yeah, this is going to be another heavyweight tilt, man. It's going to be a good one.
I know. And as of right now, assuming that my lineup stays the same with the kicker and defense, that Green Bay game is Monday night. So you're going to set the bar in the Sunday games. And I don't think either of us has a Sunday night player. No, we don't.
No, I have Bucky Irving, but I don't think he's going to be playing, to be honest.
Okay. Right. So yeah, unless you pivot to that, then when the afternoon games on Sunday end, you'll have a final score and I'll have a line to try to beat with my kicker and defense. So that's going to be something, especially if it's close, right? Like if If I'm winning and
Oh,
the
yeah.
matchup's over, then the suspense is done. If you're up like 50 or 60, then it's probably over. But if you're
Yeah,
up like 20 or 15 and I have a kicker and defense to go, then that's where it's going to be like that.
that's
Could
gonna
go
be a
either
big
way,
one.
right?
Yeah. I'm excited for this one, man. I've been itching to get my players back in there, man. It was weird being a bystander this week. It was really weird.
Yes, you got to enjoy the bye and just hang out and watch your players and be like, "Hey, touchdown!" Doesn't
Yeah.
really matter, but I'll
I
take
got
it.
to watch Josh Allen absolutely destroy and do nothing for me, but at the same time, he's cooking right now, so I'll let him.
I think the biggest thing you can say that Cash didn't as a bystander is none of your players got hurt.
Yes, I agree. I agree with that. None of my players got injured, which I'm grateful for. Cash,
Is that
though, he took a little bit of a hit.
Yeah, Kamara, Pickens still not back. Mahomes got banged up, so not ideal from his perspective.
Yeah, other than that, though, like other than Cash kind of getting fucked, no one else's teams really got screwed, I don't think, in terms of the
Aaron.
top four here.
Not the,
Well,
oh yeah,
yeah,
the top four. Yeah.
yeah, the super
Yeah,
top
Aaron's
four.
team
Yeah,
got hit with injuries.
yeah. Aaron's team got absolutely manhandled, unfortunately, but
Yeah.
yeah.
He
No,
had a
that
week
was
to forget.
yeah. Other than that, though, the top four teams are pretty healthy. We'll see.
Pretty healthy.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes though, because I've been pretty lucky with the injuries. Actually, I don't think I've actually had like any crazy injuries on my team. I had a Kittle. Kittle went out for I think 1 or 2 weeks there for a little bit,
Yeah.
but other than that, my team has been actually really healthy, which is surprising because in football, like it seems like every week someone's fucking taken out, right? It's
Hmm.
insane.
Yeah, you haven't had to do a whole lot of finagling. You've been able to basically ride your roster through the season, which is probably part
Yeah,
of why you've been near the top or at the top the whole year because
yeah. My
you got
team really hasn't changed too much, man. Like aside from a couple players, like
yeah,
and a few flip flops, but other than that, like I've rocked Josh Allen. I've had
get hope.
Purdy on the bench. Like he's pretty much been on the bench. I think the 1 week that Josh Allen had a bye, I put Purdy in.
Yeah.
But other than that, like yeah, I haven't really wavered at all. Not as much as you. Like your team's gone through a crazy fucking like
Yeah.
crazy transformation, which is insane.
You got a player on your team that was on my team, James Conner.
Yeah, James Conner. Yeah, that's true, man.
He's been on my team, Justin's team, and your team now. So
That's insane.
wish he
That's
was
wild.
back on my team, but that's okay.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry about
Yeah,
that, man. I just had
that's okay.
unfortunately I was in that top waiver spot, the second waiver
I
spot.
know, man. It could go down as one of the biggest factors too.
It really could. Imagine
Yeah.
if he had a nuclear nuclear week against you. That would be
Uh,
salt in the wounds.
be like Amon Ra with Brody, man, when he fucking went
Oh
for like 35 points against me.
yeah, man.
You
We'll
never
see
know.
how she goes. This is gonna be a very fun week of football. I'm really excited for this week.
Yeah.
I might even be more excited for this week than I am of the finals, to be honest, because you and me are fucking rivals and everything, man. So
Oh
it's
yeah.
it's good to be against each other again.
It's gonna be a
We'll
battle
see.
for
It's
sure.
gonna be yeah, it's gonna be a fun one, man. I'm excited.
All right, let's pick it tomorrow. Broncos and Chargers. Broncos have a 1 game lead on the Chargers. Pretty healthy, not too many big injuries. Chargers are a little banged up, but yeah. What's your thought process here? I think we
Uh,
know where I'm gonna go, but
I'm actually gonna go with the same spot, buddy. I'm gonna go with your
nice.
Broncos. I think
All right.
their defense is gonna have another good showing. I mean, they've been solid, and yeah, I think less banged up. They're gonna be a team, man. They're gonna be a good team.
Yeah,
We'll
I'm
see
with
what
you.
Bo Nix can do, man.
Yeah, he's been playing well enough to get the job done. He started out a little rocky last week. He ended up throwing 3 interceptions, but the defense bailed him out. So, hopefully with Chargers, Justin Herbert doesn't have too much going on for him right now. He's
Yeah,
hurting. Lad McConkey's trying to gut it out. J.K. Dobbins is still on IR. So, um, yeah, I feel like the defense is going to be the critical factor again tomorrow night.
yes, sir.
Well,
Should be good.
the week will start with the Broncos. It'll end with the Packers and Saints, which will be my defense and probably my kicker. Um, so it's going to be a fun week, buddy.
It is. It's gonna be a very very exciting week. excited to get back into it. Sucks that we couldn't have all 4 of us on here with Cash and Traeger bailing, but you know what? It's always a fun time with you on the potty, buddy.
Yes, sir. We'll get them back next week here.
Holy shit, this is a long one too.
Well, we cracked the hour mark, so we'll crack the finish. Until next week, good luck to everybody out there, and clear eyes,
yep.
full heart.
Can lose.